Good morning, children. Today I am going to start a new chapter for you. The chapter is called Scratch. It is a language, a programming language. Let me share the screen with you and teach you about Scratch. It's a very interesting subtopic. Yes, this is your fourth chapter, Scratch Part 1. Okay. What is Scratch? Scratch is a programming language and it is a block visual programming language. In this, we call it as a block visual programming language because we use blocks to create a program. It's a block and we can also see it, so it's called the block visual programming language. It was developed by Lifelong Kindergarten Group at the MIT, that's Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Media Labs, and this is led by Michael Resnick in 2003. Primarily, this sprite was, just a minute, children. It was created to help the students to learn code, how to create code. I think everybody is doing coding right now, to create codes, to create their own interactive stories. You can even create your own stories, your games. You can make an animation picture also of it. So designing Scratch projects helps the children to learn. They start learning their lessons and many other things and they start getting a very creative mind to do their work. They start reasoning out and their work is done very systematically once they start learning Scratch. And Scratch helps to create programs. As I told you, you need to drag these blocks of codes and create your programming languages or your design or your storyboard or whatever it is. And this is a website if you really want to learn a lot about Scratch, www.scratch.mit.edu. So this is the official website for Scratch. And to open Scratch, you need to click on the start button, select all programs and click on the Scratch. Scratch has an icon like this. Or if you don't find it on your start button, then you can go into search bar and type Scratch too. Actually, you have an advanced system of Scratch which has already come to Scratch 1.7 or so. But I'm using Scratch 2 since it's in your reader. It's almost the same. The whole thing using blocks is the same. Okay, this is an interface screen of a Scratch, what you're going to use. Let's see the different parts. I've labeled all the parts. This is called the scripts. You have a script, costume, and sound also. So these are the options in this block. You have the red and the green. The red is for stop the program, stop using the block of codes, and this is to run the block of codes or the program. This screen helps you to get into full mode. Right now what you're seeing is my full mode of PowerPoint presentation. So here there is an icon to go into the full mode. And here you have many sprites. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've put 4 sprites here. This I've put this labeling here for this because when I open Scratch, this sprite is the default sprite. So these are small pictures that are used for doing my Scratch programs. So they are called as sprites. These small pictures are called as sprites. This is the stage where I need to, I can see whatever block of codes I use. Here, the story or the stage play is shown here. There is an option I in your sprite. I'll be showing you those things right now and it gives you many information. So when after this slide, I'll show you these things. This is sprite list, which tells you about sprites being in your Scratch program. You can paint a Scratch. You can take a sprite. Sorry, this is a sprites which are there in your program. You can paint a sprite. You can take a sprite from inside your computer, or you can click out a picture and make it as your sprite. And there is a news, this is called the new sprite button. When you click on this, you start getting the different sprites. These are the sprite lists. You can see how many sprites have used, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so these are the sprite list. So I gives you all the information about this sprite. The sprite list is here, how many sprites you have opened. And this is new sprite buttons to open it in different ways. The sprite can be opened in different ways. Okay. Then you have some keys here. These are called the cursor tool keys. This is like duplicate keys. This is to delete keys. This is to make the sprite bigger. We'll use it and decrease the sprite size. Okay. Then I've told you this. Now this is called the import button. When you click on this import button, you have many buttons called add and import. You start importing different pictures from other place. This area, this screen is called the costume window. In this costume window, you can create your new sprites, or whatever sprites are here, you can see it here. Since I've clicked on this sprite, it's seen here. So this is a costume window where I can create my sprite. And this is called the script area, where I drag my blocks and put it into the script area to create my program. And you have bitmap tools. When I'm creating a new sprite, I use this bitmap tools like circle tool, coloring tool, text tool, line tool, and many, select tool, and so on. This is called the block palettes. Here, these are ready-made information or blocks that are there. You just need to click on it and drag it and drop it here, depending upon what program you want to create, or you want the sprite to move, and also you just click these blocks which have a lot of information. We'll be using it, you'll understand. So this is the block palette window, and you have zoom keys to zoom in and zoom out. You've already used zoom keys in every type of programs. Now these are the main components which I showed you just now, right now on your Scratch screen. We'll just go into it. What is a sprite? A sprite is a small graphic character, and it performs different actions like move, turn, whatever it is. And there are a number of inbuilt sprites. You don't have just one sprite. I showed you there were 4 sprites on my screen. There are many sprites. Okay, so then the stage is a main, it's a work area where you create all your stories or games or whatever it is. And the sprite, they are all like thumbnails, which I told you, a sprite list. I showed you just now. I just opened 4 sprites. Those are the list which just looks small like thumbnails. I showed you what is a presentation mode, where you look on full screen, and this is a cursor, which is for duplicating, deleting, and making it bigger, smaller. And this is, it's explained here, each one. Then you have the eye option. This eye option is on the top left corner, and it's like it's next to the thumbnail of each sprite. It has it, the eye. And what does it do? It's called the sprite information pane. Okay, when you click on that eye, it's called the sprite information pane. It gives you information about what? It gives you information about information about the selected sprite. It gives another few tools about how could you manipulate the sprite, that is change its actions, like rotate the sprite or don't rotate the sprite or move, whatever it is. So the tools include here. You need a circular arrow. So as a sprite is moving, there's a circular arrow formed, or a line arrow. When it's moving, it forms a line. And if you want to disable it, you can disable them. A new sprite, as I told you, this is the new sprite or the sprite list. If you want, sorry, this is not the sprite list. These are new sprites which are created using the inbuilt sprites, or painting your own sprite, or taking a sprite from your computer, or click out any picture and make it as your sprite. These are things that are available here. And you have the XY axis, which tells you at what position is the sprite. I told you what's a sprite library. It's an inbuilt sprite function. You can paint your own sprite in the costume window screen, or you can download it, and you can upload sprites from your file. You can make a new sprite using your camera. If you have a web camera and your computer, you can do it. And the block palettes, I told you, it has a block of lots of blocks of information. And according to your task that you're performing, you select. See, I put a picture of the block palette. See, move 10 steps, turn 15, turn left. And when you join these blocks, see, they joined like a zigzag puzzle. Okay, we'll be using it so you'll understand. What is script? Script is a collection of stepwise instructions that you're doing. You keep removing each thing and then you form a beautiful script for the sprite to do its task. You need at least 2 blocks to create a script for any action for the sprite to do. It needs minimum of 2 blocks. The script area is a place where the task that you have made in the the blocks that you've created, that task is being showed in this screen. Okay, then the zoom button is to zoom in or zoom out. Import button, I told you how you import into the costume window, and you are importing a sprite from anywhere, and it's uploaded from this app Scratch. We'll be using all this and I'll show you. Unless I show you, will not understand. We'll try to do this activity if we have time. So we'll go back, as I explained you, we'll do one step at a time. In this step, it says sprite. I'll open the sprite screen, and every time we do it, I'll go back. Bezier sprite screen, right? And make it a minute, minimize it like. So these are sprites. This is a sprite. It's a small graphical character. Now, this is the stage. It's a stage, is a working area where the sprite does its actions or moves or performs it. Then comes the sprite list. The sprite list are thumbnail things that are, I'll make it smaller. Then I'll make it bigger. Okay, this is the sprite screen. Okay, we will put some new sprites. You know, this is the default sprite. Okay, if I want to add some more list in my sprite, the new sprite is here. Just click on this sprite. You have a number of sprites. Here it shows all sprites. And if I say only animals, here only animals I find here. Fantasy and letters like A, B, C, D. People of different posings they are doing there. Things, you can see this library, right? In the library there are many things. Violin, bells and whatever. And under transportation, you have this bus, car, aeroplane, ship. There is another item in the library sprite here, the sprite library. It's called the castle. When you click on castle, you find all these figures of castle. All, you know, this is city different. In the city, what are the things that you find in the city? Then dancing, people dancing in different poses. Then dresses, for your dress up, what all you require, your shoes. And then this all flying things, anything that flies in flying position, it's shown there. You're going on a holiday, then you take things with you on a holiday for Christmas, or for you're having a birthday party, or going snowing or anything. These are the different. And music, you have the instruments like drum and guitar, speaker. For the space, you have all space type of things which are in the solar system. Then the sports, you have little few, very few sports. We can add many more. Underwater, walking, and these are the things that we have. So if I need to include, I can just say all or whatever I want. If I say animals, I can include an animal as a sprite. I'll click on this as a sprite. I want to add this as a sprite. This bug, beetle. Say okay. Can you see the okay down? When you say okay, a sprite is added. Let's add another sprite. You can drag the sprite wherever you want. Okay, we'll add another sprite and then I'll show you how it looks. Say I want this very first girl, Abby, her name is. I'll just add her. Say okay. And here Abby is added. So you have many sprites, but the default sprite is the cat. Okay, the next option is drawing. Let's see how can we draw. When we are drawing, we have to choose the costumes settings. Okay, in the costume settings, you can, suppose I want to draw a small face. I'll take the face and say I'll take the full face. I definitely cannot click dark. I'll take a brown thing, and then you can draw your face here. Okay, okay, let me make the face bigger. Okay, this is it. Inside this, I'll put a lighter thing to show your face. I'll take the same circle. Okay, and I'm creating a sprite. Okay, children, this should be a little more smaller. Okay, the sprite, we can just drag it here so that I can see what figure I am making. Okay, and then I'll drag this figure. Since I've left it, let me use the okay, let me use the eyes directly only. Okay, and I'll drag this eyes inside this here like that. You need to put a dot inside the eyes also, you can do that, it's your wish. Select the black, and of course the circle I'm putting 2 eyes. This is okay. Drag this thing and put the eyes here. You can make a mouth part for it by just it's like if you want to duplicate the eyes or anything. And okay, I'll just paint because the selection tool is there, but I'm not able to see it. You can just, depends upon how big you want the line, and you can do this. You have other selection tools. Okay, so this is your sprite. It will be added here. Okay, and you can select anything if you don't need it and just in this thing, and you can move the sprite wherever you like. And when you move the sprite, you can see the XY axis are changing. Wherever the mouse pointer is going, the XY axis shows here. Okay, you can move the sprite wherever you want. See, it moves there also, it will move. Okay, this is the information tool. It should be moving. The information tool tells you where is the sprite right now located and on what axis. Okay, if I move the sprite, even the axis changes. Can you see the axes are changing as I'm moving the sprite? Okay, this is the information that you get, and it tells you about 90 degrees. You want to rotate it, you can just rotate it by clicking here. There's the rotate option. You can do the rotation there also. I'll show it to you. It should be working. We want to rotate it right. See, it's facing this way. If you say left, it faces that whatever side you turn it like. Okay, these are the options for rotation. This is how you create your own sprite also, children. Okay, let's go back to the script, and let's do a small these are your backgrounds, children. You can put your own background. There are built-in backgrounds. You can make your own background. Say if I want to put this as a blue sky as my background, I just select it and say okay, and I get a blue sky as my background. This is how you select background. You can click a picture or you can draw your own background. Okay, children, that's all for now. Hope you understood how to add a new sprite, how to draw your own sprite, how to, take backgrounds and all the parts of the Scratch window. We'll start off with programming in the next class. Till then, have a nice day and thank you. Stay safe.